What's up? What's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we take a look back at the early works of seasoned comedians before they were seasoned with this week's guest, social media goddess Mary Bourne. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, welcome to Done Way Past Funny, where we look at the work of seasoned comedians before they were seasoned. I am your host, G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. Joining me today is social media goddess Mary Bourne. Although actually, Mary is not a comedian, but she is comedy adjacent, which is what many people refer to me of because they don't think I'm funny. I'm just close to almost funny. So I'm comedy adjacent as well. And it's not as funny as the second time you hear it. This is, I'm sorry, inside baseball. We've done this. Mary and I have just finished. We didn't finish, but we just did this. And guess what? Somebody forgot to hit record. I don't know why Mary forgot to hit record. She should know better. She should know better. But okay. But anyway, so I want to introduce everyone to Mary Bourne. Hello, Mary.
Hi again.
Hello again, man.
Hello again.
I can't believe you forgot to hit record. You just
Never
had too much.
mind.
You just have too much on your plate. Too much on your plate.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, telling people a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so as you can tell, I am over here in England. So I live in the UK, and I have recently, in the last 6 to 8 months, been working with a social influencer and slash comedian over in the States, in New Jersey and in New York, and have been doing all of his background administration and trying to get him booked on as many shows and podcasts as possible, and just basically trying to manage him in the background.
Now, the comedian that she's referring to is Anthony. Now, I should say it right now, Anthony Cassese.
Anthony Cassese, yeah.
Anthony Cassese.
Yeah.
His handle was the self-care dude.
It was.
Now I, in what's it called? Full disclosure, I know him online. I've met him online, and we've talked online. And the first question I asked him when I met him was, "If you're a self-care dude, why do you need someone else to handle your social media? That doesn't sound like self-care." Now he has a very good sense of humor, and I can't remember what he said to me because it was funny, and I don't like other comedians being funny to me. But so, but you were, man. See, I'm about to. You were mentioning that Anthony. Okay, I'm saying this. I'm going to clean this up real quick.
Okay.
People, like I said, we had started talking, and I realized I didn't hit record. So I'm going to say things that's not going to make sense to you just because this is the way I talk. But
Okay.
no. People know that it's because I'm saying this for the second time, and so is she. So you had mentioned during the unrecorded session that Anthony was working on rebranding.
Yeah, so he has been the self-care dude for like nearly 18 months, and which is where his journey was, and that's where he has come from social media and with all his followers. But in the last month, he started to rebrand as actually become Anthony Cassese, which is obviously his name, and to follow that. And so we've been working with that a lot. And I think he'll always be the self-care dude to many of his followers, because that's where they found him, including myself. But he wants to use his name now, because he feels much more comfortable with that. And so we've had to learn his name, Anthony Cassese.
Now, it's funny because you had mentioned that when people heard your accent, you said obviously you're in the UK.
Yeah.
But to be honest, most Americans don't know. They would hear your accent and they would say they would not know. They would go like, "Oh, Australia," and some of them are so ignorant as to think Irish. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not Irish.
I know. I'm just saying, but a lot of Americans are they just hear an accent and they're just tone deaf to the nuances in the accents. Like for example, you're where you are in the UK. If someone were, let's say, or is that the north? What part? The
I'm in the
geographically is that north?
southeast. I'm right
Southeast.
down the bottom in the southeast. So I've got a
Okay.
slight, I would say a London accent, but I have got a slight twang of yeah. I'm not from Scotland. I'm not from Liverpool, where would have a strong
That's what I was gonna
accent.
say.
But I've got a pretty solid English accent with a bit of a London twang. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have like the Liverpool. Is it Liverpool? I think has a.
No, no, and I
Is
can't
that
do. Don't even ask me to do that.
is that Cockney? When or is that the
Cockney would be London.
London?
London.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
but see, I know they exist. I can't remember where everything is, but
No.
so it's just when you said, of course, it's like most Americans like, really?
Okay.
He's not Australian, really?
No,
So
I'm not Australian.
you just give us too much credit.
Okay.
You're
I'm from
too,
England, but I'm in the UK, down in the southeast.
yeah, we're just ignorant. That's all. But now, uh, being in the UK and
Hmm.
Anthony being in New Jersey and New York, you've had to learn to navigate the New York and
Yes.
New Jersey club scene.
Yes.
Would you mind talking a little bit about that?
So yeah, it's a bit of whirlwind of learning because say I didn't know anything about New Jersey or even New York. So never learned the comedy scene or even comedy, to come to think of it. I've not really don't even know the English comedy world. So I've even had to learn all of that. And that is just by being very, very persistent and very on it by social media, really. If it hadn't been for social media or on an online presence, that I wouldn't have been able to do it. So it's been taking a lot of work just to work my way through lots and lots of groups and Facebook pages. I had to kind of really go back onto Facebook because I kind of left that. But now my Facebook feed is full of comedy people that are just no clue. And forget the friends and family, it's just all full of comedy. So, and just to really tap into that and learn the whole scene, which has been a journey.
Now, one of the things, because you're working, well, you're actually working on book Anthony with clubs and stuff of that nature,
Yeah.
but you don't have, because Anthony's name is not well known.
Yeah.
How do you go about writing or um, I would say writing or just designing a letter to sell Anthony to bookers who have no idea who he is?
I think the first thing is I know this sounds quite cheesy and stuff. It's actually to build up relationship. It's to get my face or to get Anthony known or to people to even know who I am. Is to just like Facebook pages and comment and sort of say, well, who's this girl? Who's this Kale suddenly invading our spaces and stuff? And to think, and so you get that. So people see my name. Oh, Mary's popped up again, and they don't know who I am, but it's getting that recognition. And then I start sending messages. I will send a message on every single platform. So I send it across all of the social platforms through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok if they're on it. And then I will dive as deep as I can possibly get and find an email, but not necessarily the email of the company, but try and find something personal. So I try and then word my messaging around perhaps the personality of that person. So if they're a bubbly person, I'll go, I will word that slightly different. But it's very important that I always make sure that I don't promote myself, but I always make sure I have Anthony's handles, which is his name, his social media name, always on the bottom, always mentioned within the message as well. And just kind of point people to his social media, his content. He's got such a backlog of content, and he might not have the comedian, so he might not have enough reels or stuff for what he's done on stage, but he's got a lot of content. So I could try and point people to that and get in people's faces. I might share it or just keep sharing things. It's repetitiveness all the time.
Now, one of the questions I ask people, I'm saying people, but when I say people, I mean this group that we both belong to, the
Yeah.
Blueprint for Success by Barry Katz, run by Barry Katz. And if you don't, people who don't know who Barry Katz is, he's not related to Fritz the Cat. He's just he's just a guy who's kind of got lucky in the comedy business. I think one or two successes. He's barely made a mark in the comedy business. But
Okay.
when I asked him a question about when you're writing a letter to bookers,
Yeah.
and what is like a good success rate? Is like 1%, 4%, 6%, because you kind of like to have an idea. So what is like a good what are you finding like a good response rate is for you?
It's slow. It's very hard. So I will message different kind of areas as well. So the comedy scene, the people really on the ground, and then also some like kind of big podcasts and to try and break into something. And we've not, that's really hard. So I, as ballpark figures, probably in the last 2 months, I've messaged nearly 500 people, and I get 1 or 2 return on that. And
Wow.
but then I will repeat that because I'm quite organized, and my real job, in a sense, is that I'm an administrator. So I will then repeat that about 3 times over a space of time. So I will resend. And so yeah, some of the bigger stuff, the bigger podcasts, there's hardly any return on that. Hardly any. But then once you get one booking, I find that if you get one show or one booking or one podcast, it triggers something else. You suddenly, okay, then someone say, oh, well, I've got a show. Would you like to come on my show? Or you then start watching them a little bit more, and you notice that they're putting on a festival or putting on a tournament. And then you say, well, can he be on the tournament? And then it just kind of then triggers it. But the return is, it's hard. Sometimes it's like you feel you're banging your head against a brick wall sometimes.
Now, not again, but for example, there's a lot of rejection involved in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of rejection.
I don't know how. I mean, since it's not you that's being rejected, I mean, it's not even Anthony that's being rejected because they don't know Anthony.
No.
But do you feel personal? I mean, do you take it personally when you after a while, or?
I don't know if I take it personally. Sometimes because I'm working for Anthony, that I feel that I let him down. I don't know if that's. Sometimes I feel like some weeks I've not done anything. I've not got any results, or I might be working on something else. I do a lot of administration. I build his website as well, so I could be busy doing something else, or we're relaunching merch, and we've got all that in the pipeline as well, which is ready to launch and things. So it might not be trying to get bookings, but we're working hard on the rebranding. So, but yeah, sometimes you feel that, am I actually getting anywhere? And then suddenly you'll get a show booked and you think, oh, I've got something in the diary. And then you then try and get something else in the diary. But yeah, it's hard. And I feel sometimes that I'm not letting him down, but I feel that I'm not making progress sometimes. Yeah, it's hard.
When I think of like because I handle my own bookings, if you can, reaching out to bookers and stuff of that nature, and it's hard for me not to feel rejected when I know it's like I have a good product, and it's hard for me not to feel rejected. So I'm thinking that maybe Anthony is like really, really bad at rejection, and that's why he's letting you do it.
I would just take on the weight.
I really can't. I really can't take another no. Please marry me.
Yeah. I think, and to understand him and his personality, he's actually really good at things like that. He's like, oh wow, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, yeah, but we need bookings. And he's like, that calm. He's very relaxed on that side of things, where I'm not. I'm so I like things organized. I like to have things in the diary. And so yeah, that's where we're different, but that's where we work really well together as well. Yeah.
Now you've joined a lot of groups, right? Joined a lot of groups, but on your Facebook page, you don't follow anybody according to the thing, right? It's like, so
I follow a lot, but the groups obviously is what you follow. You follow the actual group, and then you see the people within the group. I think I suppose this is personal because my social media is extremely different. And I find that because I'm actually talking as me, as Mary Bourne, and I'm messaging from my own personal accounts. And this is something that we probably need to sort out. I need to perhaps message from a more of a professional platform, but I'm messaging on behalf of me. Now, if I befriend people and they go to my social media, they'll be like, this doesn't quite add up. How does this fit? So I'm very, very cautious of that, because what I don't want to do is put any highlight onto me. I'm a very good manager, the fact that I want to promote Anthony. So yeah, I struggle with that a little bit.
I would say, because to be honest, as ignorant as Americans are, as ignorant as we are, when we hear a British accent, or we give you instant credibility.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like if you go to the top news, a lot of the top news organizations, they must have probably a good 25% of their staff. If they're not really British, they have really good British accents.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because it's instant credibility. Now, I don't know why that is,
Yeah.
because uh, but yeah, soon I can have you, and I don't know what all of your credentials are, but you could be in the same room with somebody from, let's say, Alabama in the United
Yeah.
States, and that person from Alabama could have 3 PhDs,
Yeah.
and his PhDs could be in, I'm going to say, farming. People are going to hear his Southern accent and think he doesn't know shit about farming,
Yeah.
and hear your accent, and I don't know what you know about farming, but even
Not a
if you
lot.
just said you have to water your plants or they'll die, you will have more credibility than the guy from Alabama based just on accents alone.
Okay. That's good
So,
to know.
so I'm just saying, so it would be almost to your advantage if you could
Okay.
use your voice. And I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, but we respect uh, your accents more than we do our own.
Okay. It doesn't matter what the content is.
Doesn't matter what the
What
content
the
is.
content is.
You get instant points by having the accent. I'm gonna
Okay.
take as like, are you familiar with the actor, what, Idris Elba? Idris
Yes.
Elba?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Idris
Yeah.
Elba. Okay,
Yeah.
without the accent, he's a 3 over here. I'm just
Yeah.
telling
But
you.
with the accent.
With the accent, he's like a 9.5, and even I
Yeah.
would
It's
probably
brilliant.
sleep with him. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, you know what I'm saying? And so, but take away the accent, he's an ugly, looks like a pig, a warthog. He's a warthog
Well,
without it.
maybe.
Yeah, no, without the accent, he's a warthog. Let's face it. Let's be honest. He's ugly. But give him the accent. It's like, whoo, my God, he's a dream. So, and
Yeah.
so I'm just
I
saying
get
that.
that. Yeah.
And so
Okay.
you should use your accent a little bit more, but maybe sending voicemails, or I'm just however you want to
Yeah.
do it.
That's a
Maybe
good idea.
maybe
That's a
voice
good idea.
over maybe voice over his flyers or something.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
writing that one down.
yeah, voice over his flyers, because it's like I said, it's just I don't even think we know we do it. I don't even think we know we do it, but I'm the kind of
Yeah.
person who notices those kinds of things. Even though I'm not funny, I'm observant for someone
Yeah.
who's not funny. But yeah, so yeah, voice over his flyers, voice over his clips. Just introduce them. Like before he does his little 3-minute clip, just do a little voiceover, says Anthony Casase at so and so comedy club. Just a little thing like that.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. We'll see what he says.
And see, yes, and see if it works. And if it works, I'm gonna start voice over myself and do my own fake accent.
Yeah.
And I don't have a great accent, but I'll use the word bloke and chap a lot. Like I said, people over here are really ignorant. They don't know.
I've had to learn the speech as well. I found that New Yorkers and other people, they're very, very different. I know that from state to state. I've learned that a lot. Even in the response of my messages, it can be, I don't know if British people are saying, but I'm quite not going to say polite, but I'm like, hi, how are you? Goodbye, good night, and all of that. Don't get that at all from you lot. I'm
No,
like,
no, yeah.
no.
And
No.
even some of this is like, for example, just some of the things we both have in common, but we call them something totally different. And I can't think of something. I'm saying like what you would call like a sidewalk, a pavement, right?
Pavement.
Pavement.
Yeah.
Where people walk, you call it pavement. I think,
Yeah,
well, we
pavement.
call it both pavement and sidewalk.
Okay.
But there's still some things that I'm sure that you've had to maybe learn.
Absolutely. You know, my whole writing has changed because when I write and I'm in the Anthony Cassese world, in a sense, when I work, I'm writing my dates the other way around. I'm working in EST time, so my diary is in EST. So my whole thinking and the way I work has changed. So my language has changed. So when I work on the website, I very often will go 30th of April, and I'm like, no, it's not the 30th of April, it's April 30th. And then it's, yeah, and I actually naturally will do it now. I will naturally write the American way. And even in my own work, I have to sit there and think, where am I? What country am I in? I literally take myself, I do physically think that when I'm working in this mindset, I take myself out and I become in a sense, I come into America because I know, and then that sounds silly, but I've had to, because I've had to learn the streets. I know where such and such comedy clubs. This is how organized I am. I've got Google Maps, and all the comedy clubs are all highlighted, and so I've learned the routes and stuff because I need to know how long it takes to go from one club to the other. You know, I have no idea what New York streets were like, but now I feel like I live there and I know where to go. So yeah, it's bizarre.
It's almost like you know more. It's almost like you have to know more about the clubs than Anthony does before he gets there.
Yeah, I do. And it's like very often you say, well, how long does it take to get from this club to this club? And I'm like, you can do that in one night. Go to both of these. But where we've been working the clubs a little bit now, he knows exactly where to go, and he knows more than me. He's on the ground. He sees it for himself. And that's something like I miss that. I do find sometimes that I have the missing. I don't have that final piece to the puzzle. You kind of work all of this, work with him. It's his life, it's his dream, it's his vision, and I just support that. But I kind of work alongside that, and I never get the final piece of the puzzle because I never actually go. And that sometimes is like, oh yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah.
I was gonna say, now one of the things you shouldn't miss is the smells of New York.
No, I suppose I don't smell that. Yeah.
And so you're fortunate in that way, because Anthony was like, thanks for the gig. It smelled awful.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did you send me there? Yeah.
Did you not know what it looked like before? I'm just kidding, no.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm planning on coming out actually, so it's gonna be exciting.
Now, because did you know a lot about, not necessarily the business of comedy, but comedy as a form of entertainment for you?
No, I didn't actually, and it makes my husband laugh that, because I'm probably the least one who would ever dream of knowing anything about that. And it's a running joke in my family that I've not got a sense of humor, where actually I've got quite a strong sense of humor. And I'm the least person who would enter the comedy world, that's for sure. But it's the way it went, so yeah.
Now, so actually, I was about to use your husband's name, but I just assuming that social media is correct, as Matt, right?
It is Matt, yeah.
Okay, so because I've
done your research?
I have said things to people, and they had not changed their information in their website, and I would ask them something like, "Oh, he's been dead for 4 years now." But I didn't know.
It's very much lied.
I said, really? Because your post says just last week, it's like, oh no, that was a memory, or you need to update these things because this is what people see.
Yeah.
But so when Now, is Matt into comedy? Does he have like a favorite comedian, stuff like that?
Oh, yeah, but I wouldn't be able to say. He's more, yeah, he's always giggling away watching comedy somewhere, and yeah, I honestly, I don't know. This is how ignorant I actually am. Is that I don't really know who watches and what. Yeah, but he loves comedy, and he would go to clubs and stuff. So, and then he just thinks it's hilarious that I'm even doing this. So yeah, and he's a movie man. He runs his own website and stuff. So he's very much in the movie industry, and so he's always interviewed a lot of famous people and been connected with a lot of people where I've never paid any interest, and suddenly here I am doing all of this. So can I just
Now,
shut my blind? Sorry, can I just shut my
oh,
blind?
sure, sure.
Yeah. The sun's going down and it's coming
Oh,
straight through the
I
window.
thought your neighbors were peeking in.
No, the sun is going right through.
It's like, it's my neighbor. He's peeking in again.
No, I live in a village, so there's hardly anybody around.
Every night at this time, I have to close my blinds.
No, the sun is pretty low.
Now, now, Anthony, since he, like I said, this is your introduction into comedy, so to speak. So, what have you learned about the business of comedy? One, that you would never have imagined, and then two, that you wish you hadn't learned about comedy.
I think all of it is just I never imagined any of it. Even it's a different way. It's a different world, and maybe that's because I live in a different world as well. But yeah, I've enjoyed the excitement of learning something new and learning and getting to know people as well that I would never have met. I think the hardest thing, or the thing that I don't like, is that for me as a person, my personal life is sometimes it can be quite conflicting because I'm a Christian,
Right. Yeah.
and sometimes I can watch things and I think, should I be watching this? Is this something that I personally should be promoting? And so I've had this conversation with Anthony a lot. But what I need, that's why in a sense I try and not stay in the background, but I will promote anything that he wants to do. That's absolutely fine. And he's good. He's good. He's got good morals. He's got good standards, and I love that about him. But sometimes I think, maybe that's not the podcast I should be promoting or should be on. And that sometimes can go against what I believe in. But I'm strong and I know that, it won't influence me personally. So yeah, I just need to find a balance sometimes.
I was going to ask you about that because I know from your social media posts that
Yeah.
you're a good girl. I'm just saying that you're a good God-fearing woman. And as a result, the comedy, I mean, you could actually be affiliated with a clean comic, and then those issues wouldn't exist for the most part. I say for the most part because nobody's perfect, and even a clean comic may be clean on paper and be so filthy with their personal life.
Yeah, and you can't judge people and stuff, but I think I've questioned this a lot. I'll be very honest with that. I've questioned this a lot, but I supported Anthony from the word go in who he is. And he chose comedy. If he'd chosen something completely different, he had chosen, I don't know, another career or another hobby, I would have supported that. He chose comedy, so that's where we went. And I just, in the back of my mind, is that I support him. I might not necessarily support the comedy, but I support him. So I will do everything I can for him to do that. And there will be some boundaries, and there has been some times where I say I can't be part of that. And he's very respectful of that. And we've had this conversation a lot. Does my social media sometimes stop what you're doing because we are so different?
Right.
My social media is nothing like his content.
Right.
But yeah. And I know that, and I don't want to, obviously I want to promote what I believe in, but I also don't want to stop people following him because of what I do as well. And it's a very funny balance. That's, yeah.
I understand. I get that. Now, since you've been exposing yourself to comedy.
Yeah.
Are there comedians now that you're like aware of, like, oh my gosh, where has this person been all my life?
Yeah,
Yeah,
some.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously there's so many names. I have so many names in my head. There's a lot of comedians that I've come across that perhaps I think maybe not.
right, right.
Um, yeah, and
And you can
think
and you can say their names if you want to, the bad ones,
no, I'm not going to say any
especially
names.
if I'm
I
not
don't
one
need a
of them.
show.
I'll say if I'm not one of them, you can say their names.
No, no, no. I'm not saying any names.
Well, I'm just
Um,
saying you can.
no,
I'm not trying to encourage you. I'm
no, I know.
definitely not
You know,
discouraging you.
there are some cliques that we found that we just like, no, we're not associating ourselves with some of those. Yeah, we're better than that sometimes. Yeah, yes, it's finding that how low, where's that middle ground and stuff. So yeah, but we found some good comedians. I found some recently some good promoters or people who put on shows that we're just starting to work with and to see if we can get some more out of that. So yeah, I'm not very good with names. I forget everything like that.
Oh, okay, but unless they're a booker, then you know their name. I'm just teasing.
Yeah, well, I know what their handles are. So yeah. um
Now, how do you, for example, because sometimes there's I'm trying to think here. Oh, first of all, I am just terrible with, how should I put it? Hmm. I don't kiss butt very well.
okay.
You know? And
Yeah.
so and because, quote, I'm a comedian. I think because I'm well, technically I'm not a comedian. Technically I'm a humorist, and
Okay.
there's a difference. Uh, a, I think according to my definition is that a comedian says, "Look at me," and laugh, and the
Yeah.
humorist says, "Let's look at the world
Okay.
and we'll see the world together and laugh together." You
Yeah.
know, and so a humorist spends less time saying funny things and spends more time saying things funny.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I'm
Yeah.
a genius like that. I'm a comedian. No, I'm just saying that. um, but the reason why I say it, because sometimes I think bookers look upon comedians as we're expendable.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, I have 1,000 comedians I'm looking at, but because you're not a comedian, I don't
Yeah.
know if you're viewed differently. It's almost like you're almost like an agent minus the 10% or the 20% or
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I don't really know what I am and what my role. I kind of play many hats. And like I do the work and the website and stuff. I can build all of that, all the online platforms. You know, Anthony does his own social media. That's one thing I don't do. He puts out all his own content. He works his own social media handles and stuff. I don't have access to that, but everything else in the background I do. And you know, it's really hard to to get noticed and then get people to know your name. And to get your name you have to push. You got to push. But one thing we have decided between us, we're not going to push to the point where we're desperate. If people don't want us, then that's fine, we leave it. We're not
right.
going to be desperate and really really like knock on the door the whole time. If people say no, they say no. We're somebody out there is going to want this work. Someone's going to want Anthony to perform. It's just finding that at the right time, at the right in the right place.
Now it's funny because in talking to you, I'm starting to feel a little bit guilty, like maybe I'm not trying hard enough.
We work hard. We've worked really hard. Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel, I don't know if I stop. I shouldn't feel that way. Stop it. You're where you're supposed to be right now. No,
I,
okay, stop.
I suppose it depends on what you want out of it. Anthony's a young guy.
Right.
He wants to make this his dream. He wants to make this career. He wants to go as far as he possibly can, and he's capable of that. He's young enough to do that, and I suppose that's why he's got so much drive at the moment, because he wants so much more than what he is at the moment. Even though he's very happy where he's at, He wants so much more. He wants to take that vision, and I'm prepared to run with that with him, even though I'm much older than him. I'm a lot older than him, and I've kind of done my.
You can't be much older than him. First of all, he's like 17. I think you were 25.
He's 28.
Okay.
I'm a lot older than that.
30. You're 33 at the most.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm nearly 20 years older than him.
Really?
I'm 46.
I'm 64. I'm 64, and I would never have thought that you were more than a few years older than Anthony. Like I said, I'm still convinced he's just 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah, no.
And you're just covering for him because he's not old enough to be in the bars where he's performing.
Yeah.
I am shocked that you, being a good Christian woman, would tell that lie for him. Just so you're exposing a minor.
Was it 21 for you?
Yeah, you are exposing a minor to the sinful words of comedy. That's what you're doing. You're an enabler.
No. He's definitely older than 17.
Okay, we can agree to disagree.
Okay.
No. So, I'm trying to think here. Oh, if you don't now, see if I get this right. Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to ask. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this. If you don't want to answer,
that's fine.
That's fine. And I can just edit it out, or you can just leave it. You can just say leave it in. I want people to know what kind of a prick you are for asking me such a question. You had mentioned that you were like 11 years in remission with your cancer. How's that coming along?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to talk about that. I am 11 years. So in 2012, I was diagnosed with lymphoma. It was stage 4. So I had, my prognosis wasn't good. I was very advanced with lymphoma. And so I had serious treatment. There was a lot of time where it's very touch and go. So I had a year's worth of trying to sort that out and stuff. But yeah, 11 years later, I'm still here. So it didn't get me. So yeah.
Well, actually, then that's very optimistic because your dog is only, what, 5 years old?
Yeah, that's right.
And so you were optimistic enough to get an animal that could live 20 years.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because if something, if you didn't feel that good, then you'd be like leaving Matt with the dog, saying, Matt, I really thought I'd be around, but yeah, you're stuck with the dog. I know you didn't want a Cocker Spaniel. I know you wanted a Dalmatian.
She's now yours.
I know you wanted a Dalmatian.
Right. Yeah.
But so I'm glad it's worked out. I'm glad it's working out for you with Matt and your Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah. I've been really privileged because I had young children or younger children at the time as well. So they went through a lot. I only had a 3-year-old at the time. So it was tough. But obviously my children are a lot bigger. Some of them are not even children, they're adults now. So I hope this is what comes across on my social media is that I love life. I'm so
you come across as a very positive person.
Yeah,
it depresses me because I don't have that. I'm just saying because I was like, oh, you should be so happy. I don't understand.
Trust me, I'm not happy the whole time. But I because I think I've been blessed with a life. I should have died, and I probably shouldn't have come through that, but I am, and I did, and I'm very, very grateful for my life. And I like to, I embrace life. And if I can help anybody else do that as well, that's a bit very much me personally. Is my mantra, is who I am, is that I will love on people as much as possible and make them succeed because I love life and I want them to love life too.
Now, does it help having had cancer or having survived it and kicked it in its butt so far?
Yeah.
That when you hear something from an agent, a booker, you go like, oh, please, really? I've gone through cancer. You are nothing.
Yeah, maybe it's given me a bit of backbone and stuff. I just overhead.
Okay, now with what you know about comedy now, if one of your kids were to say to you, Mom, I want to be a comedian, and you would say
no. No, and I'm not going to be your manager either. So.
But Ma, you're helping Anthony. No.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not that kind of mum, but I also know my kids that they wouldn't either. So, yeah, if that's what they want to do, but I wouldn't encourage it.
Well, like I said, this interview is a little bit different because usually
Yeah,
I have a clip of like usually we do like actors, comedians or whatever, and we have like a clip to show what they do, you
yeah.
know, and I don't have a clip of what to show unless you want to, unless you have a clip of you searching. You have a clip of you like going through the emails and going through. I'm
No,
just saying.
no, no, no. I don't have any of that content.
Okay, so all right,
No.
well. Is there anything? Well, is there anything nice you want to say about Anthony? I'm just teasing.
Oh, I don't
Is there
know.
anything you want to say that because I guess we're wound up. We could be winding up the interview
Winding
soon.
up.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to bring up that you think might be beneficial that we didn't discuss, or because I'm not perfect, I don't think of everything. I should because I am that smart, but sometimes I don't.
I don't know really. I just think if you see my name send on an email or a message across social media somewhere, it's actually to click on the links really, and because we're serious, we're actually really serious about this, and we're not. And I know the return is very small to what we put out, but there's a lot of, I think obviously people, if they're in my position and want to do what I'm doing as well, I've got no management, I'm not a qualified manager or an agent. I'm just literally using my skill set to do this. And I didn't think I would be able to do this. And I was like, okay, right from the word go with Anthony, I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I have no clue about the comedy world. We have been the most honest between us. I think that's a very good tip to anybody who wants to work with somebody, is to actually be really honest with each other and to be so very transparent, because when I can't do something, I'm very like, and I can't do this, or he will say, and it's vice versa, is to be really honest and upfront, but also to just put the effort in. It takes a lot of work. It's taken many hours to do this, even in the short space of time. And if we can even get one show booked and then another show booked, we're just making progress the whole time. So yeah, I want to stay in the background. I don't want to promote me, but I also know that I've got to put the hard work in to get this done.
And so the things that you send out, like all of your social media is, you said Mary J. Bourne.
Yeah, Mary J. Bourne. Yeah, I had to put my middle name in the middle there.
Oh, it's
Because
not the letter J. It's the.
no, it's J. It's MaryJBourne at
Okay. Okay, because
whatever.
once you
Yeah.
said middle name, you confused me. Like your middle
Oh
name
no,
is
it's my
J.
middle. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the yeah. So I'm Mary J. Bourne on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then yeah. But then
Uh,
obviously it's antkasasi.com.
and I will post his picture so that people get to see his gorgeous little face,
It's
his
gorgeous little
gorgeous 17-year-old face.
face. Yeah, he's
uh,
we've just changed his website address to antikasasi.com, so it's a lot easier now.
I would also put that
Yeah,
a
and all
little
everything's
thing.
on there. All the info's on there on his website.
Alrighty. Well, I appreciate you helping me, and like I said, I learned a little. Part of, like I said, part of the reason why I wanted to talk with you is because, one, like I said, I'm terrible at social media.
Yeah,
I am awful. Like I said, part of it's by design, part of it's by my age, um, but
it's worth
it's
it.
yeah,
It's worth. It's the only way to really break into this. It's not the only way, but it is the way that, obviously, the only way I can do. So if anyone's got any questions and stuff, I'm friendly. I'll talk to people, but I'm not working for anybody else.
okay. You got y'all. Okay, guys, you got that. So I'm not asking Mary to work for me, but if you are a Mary type and you want to help me out, no, I will not refuse any help I can get. So,
Yeah.
but it's Mary, it's a pleasure to
No,
talk to
it's
you.
lovely to meet you.
And so everybody, if you're a booker and you get an email from Mary, open it up, read it, take it seriously,
Yeah.
because yes, it's comedy, and yes, Anthony is funny, but this is some serious shit. Although she wouldn't say shit because she's a good girl.
It's fine.
All right, thanks a lot.
No, thank you. Thank you a lot.
All right, here we go. That's a wrap.